Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tim Sawyer, and I'm the Executive Vice President of Sales and one of the equity partners at Faster Outcomes. We appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day to join us in this webinar. I have with me a legal legend, Rob Levine. Rob Levine is a practicing managing partner, owns his own law firm. He's also an entrepreneur. He's a philanthropist. He's a good friend and a great guy. And he's got a lot of thoughts around the subject that we're going to talk about today, primarily focusing on AI, current uses, the future of AI, and how AI and Faster Outcomes is going to impact the legal industry. And our hypothesis, and Rob's hypothesis, is that it is going to have a significant impact on the legal profession. And so just let me give you a quick overview of the topics we're going to discuss, and then we'll go ahead and get right into it. We're going to talk about the truth about AI adoption. Really interesting conversation as I travel the country. I want to share that with you guys. What's working, what's not. I want to talk about how law firms are actually using AI to go faster and improve margins. A big part of the discussion is how can we become more profitable. Real use cases in personal injury, family, business, and healthcare law. How you can move from belief to implementation. There's a lot of folks who give, we'll call it lip service for the point of this conversation, to what they believe the impact of AI is, but haven't fully followed through on that. We want to talk about that. A strategic blueprint to build scale without sacrificing quality, a huge concern for many lawyers. And then why should you listen at the end of the day? This is what you're going to walk away with. Clear, actionable path to using AI inside your law firm. Hard numbers on time savings and profit impact. I feel like a lot of people have a disconnect there, that there's real tangible benefit to implementing AI and Faster Outcomes. An understanding of where AI fits in legal operations. Rob is an expert at legal operations, and tools to start immediately without disrupting your firm. And just by way of introductions, Rob, real quick, Rob is a founder of Rob Levine Legal Solutions and Rob Levine Law, his own law firm, one of the largest law firms in New England, in Rhode Island, my home state. He is a household name for sure. 25 years of experience. Rob is a nationally recognized personal injury and disability attorney. His firm span Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, serving thousands of clients. Rob also leads Rob Levine Legal Solutions, helping law firms across the U.S. build scalable, efficient operations. His mission is simple: deliver better results for clients and create more profitable, sustainable law firms through innovation. And let's start there, Rob. In your mind's eye, you're considered an operational expert when it comes to law firms. In your mind's eye, how are you going to fully implement and integrate AI into the law practice? And what's a successful blueprint for the lawyer out there who's trying to solve this?
Okay, so first of all, for those that don't know you, I call you Chatty Cathy, and I think they can see why, because you now have spoken for 5 minutes and didn't even let me say thanks for having me on. So appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. Thanks for calling me a legend. That's probably a huge overstatement, but I appreciate it. And I'm excited to explore the topic of AI with you, but I want to make sure we get it out up front so people don't hear it at the end and then say, why didn't they tell us? So that people should know that I am an investor and a part owner, or equity owner, as you put it, in Faster Outcomes. That happened a couple of months ago, I think, at this point. And that was a result of your doing, right? So I owe you, thank you for that, right? So I've known Tim for 20 plus years, I suppose. And he reached out to me and asked if I would help them specifically in the PI division, of course, for AI, since that's my background, but in general. So thanks for that. Thanks for having me, and
Grateful.
Looking forward to today. So in answer to your question, let's start with the vision, a kid looking in the candy store window and looking at the people inside. If you're on the outside looking in, you're lost. AI is happening, right? So there's people who are using it today, and they're going to be using it forever. And if you're on the outside looking in, you're going to get left behind. And so you have to start somewhere, and you have to start to figure out where to start, which we're going to talk about today. And you have to figure out what the future is so that you start ramping up and get ready to go, because there's no doubt that AI is going to change the way law firms run, and not just law firms. I mean, you're talking about AI changing the world we live in. I mean, remember when people were talking about self-driving cars and everybody laughed, right? So they exist. I mean, you can get in a taxi
Yeah,
with no one in the driver's seat, and it's going to take you to where you want to go in different cities. Not everybody knows that's even there, because it's not across the whole country, but it exists. There literally are vehicles you can get in with no driver, completely autonomous, that will take you where you need to go. So we're not going to see AIs run by AI and there's no people, right? There's going to be people. You need lawyers, you need paralegals. We're not talking about people not having jobs, but we're going to change the nature of what people are doing in law firms, and all of those repeatable tasks, for sure. That's today, right? Anything that's repeatable, anything that you do every day, you could use AI to change. Where we're going is AI thinking for you. Today, we prompt it, we ask it questions. The goal is to create a system where we're giving it information and it helps us think about where we should be going and what we should be doing for our clients, for our business, for everything that we do.
got it. And as you think about, let's talk about personal injury specifically for now. And if you think about the elements inside your law firm, as you tick through those elements one at a time, where do you see AI having impact and driving the most value as it sits today?
So today already, we've implemented an AI system that runs our mailroom. So just as an example, right, instead of having people opening the mail, reading the mail, sorting the mail, scanning it in, delivering it to people, and following up, there's an AI system in place that does all that. The mail comes in, it gets scanned, AI reads it, determines who it's for, what department it belongs in, the sense of urgency based on the words in the documentation, because it just uses natural language programming, sends the document to the right person, and then follows up to make sure that they engaged with that document. So that's already in place. So imagine your mailroom, right? So we're 260 people in our law firm, the volume of mail, right? And that's already taken over all of our mail. That's today in place. That took a long time to set up, but we've built it, it's running. So for everybody else, today, if you wanted to start, just think of letter generation, right? So the most basic letter, I use AI every day. I write a letter and I say, make it better, make it funnier, make it more stern, add this, add that. Today, you could be using faster outcomes for demand letters, right? You could be putting everything into the system and say, write my demand letter, give me a medcron. Those are all things today that we can do today.
And first of all, that mailroom scenario that's going to save an incredible amount of time. That's the first time I heard that use case, is using AI to solve for mail. It's interesting. So what I want to say too is, as I travel the country, and like you, I go to a lot of shows and conventions, and I'll talk with a lot of lawyers, and the conversation typically goes like this: as I do whatever I can to get them to stop and talk to me, which isn't the easiest thing in the world, and then I say, "Oh, tell me about, what are your thoughts around AI, and are you using AI now?" And typically it's, yeah, I use it for some things, and they talk about open source ChatGPT or some type of letter generation, like you're saying. And then when you get into the second question or the third question, which is, oh, so you can see the benefit of that, right? Yep. Are you using it? Are you fully integrating AI into your law firm to go faster, decrease the amount of time it takes to process, documents, and increase profits? And I have yet to meet someone who has said to me, oh, you know what's so funny, Tim? We did X, Y, Z, and we improved by, we increased by, we decreased by. So I feel like it's like the Bible, right? You give mental assent, but do you really believe? And I feel like we're in this tweener stage where we give mental assent to the idea that, yeah, this is incredible. but we haven't quite followed all the way through. Does that make sense, Rob? And what's your take on that?
100%. And that problem isn't just AI, right? I think if we focus on the operation of law firms in general, right? So you mentioned my company, Rob Levine Legal Solutions. So we run a mastermind group. I do consulting. So I'm involved in a lot of law firms. And so I think that what you see, right? So this webinar hits everyone across the board, from 1-man to 5-man to 50-man to 200-man law firms. In the smaller, let's say under 100-person law firms, you still often see the head of the law firm, who's a practicing attorney, not necessarily focused on running the business, right? So there's the CEO hat, and then there's the lawyer hat. If I spend all my time working as a lawyer and I don't really focus on the business, I don't really focus on my numbers, I don't really focus on projections, I don't really focus on, right, my percentage of payroll, percentage of advertising, percentage of overhead, how that changes based on things I do, A/B testing different models. And so AI is no different than anything else I want to implement. So implementation in itself is a problem, right? Because if I don't have a training department, right, if I don't have a change management plan, if I just have a great idea and I say, hey, let's do this, first of all, people don't like change, right? So they get stressed. They don't know how to implement it. They don't know how to use it. They're not sure what you want me to do with it. So there's a whole host of problems on doing it. But if you go into ChatGPT and say, give me a change management program and tell me how to implement my AI, it's going to tell you exactly what to do, step by step. Question is, who's going to do it? How are they going to do it? So it's not just about having an idea, right? It's not just hiring faster outcomes. It's also going to be having a change management plan, having the right culture, and getting your team on board. And that's not just AI, that's going to be everything in the law firm. But you're right, people don't really know their numbers. If I said to somebody the most basic, what's your wanted and signed ratio for your intake in your law firm? Most people have no idea. What's your time on desk for your personal injury case? What's your average attorney fee? What have you done to increase your average attorney fee? I often get people saying to me, well, what does that mean? Or how do I measure that? Or I'm not sure where to pull that from. So I think, we have a bigger responsibility, not just to turn out great AI, it's also helping lawyers implement it.
Agreed. And as it relates to faster outcomes, one of the things that we've discovered, and I'm sure you've seen this, is when we talk to people about the cost of AI, AI is relatively affordable. It's the buy-in. It's the okay, I want to use AI. First of all, why? Why are you using AI? What are you trying to solve for? And once we can connect those dots, then you have to follow through. It's not an idea, to your point, it's not an idea where you go, yeah, we're going to give Susan a faster outcomes login and she's going to be fine. That's not going to get the meaningful difference that you're looking for, right? So, and I know you're a huge advocate for change management. So what's your vision for faster outcomes as we partner with law firms in the implementation stage to get full-scale buy-in?
So the first thing I'm going to say is to address the first part of what you said, which is, I think that law firms have become desensitized to new ideas and new technology because you see so many things coming down the pike all the time. Everybody has the next best thing. Oh, try this, try that. And so you're right that we see a lot of law firms little hesitant, one, because their team doesn't really want to change, and two, they're like, oh, I tried this or I tried that, it didn't work. AI is different, right? AI is not a piece of technology that was created for the legal industry. AI is going to be legal, medical, pharmacy, big business, vehicles, manufacturing. It's going to affect everything from A to Z across the world. So it's here to stay, and it's only going to continue to improve. So people have to step up and figure out how to get involved. Let's start with that. I think that one of the benefits of bringing me on board is that we're able to help law firms understand why they need to use it, how to implement it, how it's going to improve them, figure out where they are today, where they can be tomorrow, and literally where they can be in a year from now, right? Which is phased in over time. So I think that there's a lot we can do from a law firm, not just from saying, hey, use this piece of technology, but really taking all of our practical experience in different areas and really coaching a law firm to really become successful in the use of AI. There's lots of AI companies. I don't know of any AI company that has a lawyer who's a part owner, who's invested in the future and the outcome of how we're shaping it and building it, as well as being available to help those law firms really integrate it, implement it, and get it up and running in their law firm.
You hit the nail right on the head, right? It's the old by lawyers for lawyers, right? So it's almost when you think about, in a way, it's like prompts, right? We do a lot of prompt training to help you on it because it's asking for the right information. Your partnership is the same, right? We're now getting the right prompts to determine what should be built next, what the priorities are. And I do think that your work around change is really the nexus of how we're going to get widespread adoption, right? And to your point, there are other AI companies, it's good ones. It's okay. I believe we're on the cutting edge. We love what we're building, and to have someone like you be part of the team to guide us in what we build next. Like I said, how do we prioritize what we're going to build next is huge. And I think, and your input has been well received, to the point of we want to be able to make sure that we can measure the results, right? So in the dashboards that we're building, we want people to be able to say, okay, it used to take me this much time. Now it takes me this much time. I used to get X contingency fee. Now I get X plus contingency fee. And I think knowledge, and I'm curious your take on this, knowledge goes a long way to influence belief, right? The people, again, mental assent, I kind of get it. My friend uses AI, but right. So how do we improve, Rob, and while we're on the webinar, that belief system amongst your colleagues that if you have a plan, you stick to the plan, you stick with it, you're going to be in a good spot.
I mean, it's like anything else, right? So a baby is born and it doesn't even know how to turn over, right? See, everybody's got to start somewhere. And it doesn't really matter where you start. It's about the journey and where you finish, right? So I go to the gym a lot, right? So I'm a huge workout fanatic. And people say, oh, I want to start at the gym. I just need to lose a few more pounds before I start. And I say to people, well, isn't that the whole point of going to the gym? Well, I just not really comfortable. AI is easy to be comfortable with, right? You can literally just put in a letter and say, make it better, make it funnier. Like there's an easy entry point. There's nothing to be afraid of. Wherever you need to be, start. And then we're going to help you get to the next step and the next step. And we don't even know, let's be honest, right? We don't even know where it's going to end up because we know that technology is insanely rapidly changing, right? Monthly, we see changes, right? So where we're going to be in a year from now, we have a vision of where we want to be, and I'm super excited about the future, but we don't really know where AI, not just faster outcomes, but where is AI going to be? What is it capable of? You love to throw around the term agentic, right? So agentic versus autonomous versus a decision tree, you know, who knows where it's really going to end up? How logical will AI become? Will it really be able to, on its own, think logically, make decisions, and be able to work out a solution from a set of protocols that's saying, I want to accomplish this without having a decision tree? I don't know. But I know that we are already know what our map is going forward for the next 6 months. And it's far more than anything I hear everyone else talking about. Like everybody comes to conferences and I see all the other AI companies just do the demand letter, do the MedCron, we're going to do this. That's the end game, right? So in the personal injury world, the demand letter and the MedCron is the last thing. And yes, it's fantastic to do it in AI. It's going to save you time. It's going to improve your process. It's going to do all sorts of things in embedding the ICD codes. Fantastic. You're going to get a better demand. But what I'm excited about is starting with AI at the beginning of the process, right? My investigation, my medical management, my conversion ratio, all of that stuff that goes into the end product, the demand letter. That's what is going to be really cool. And we're doing it, right? Like, so I'm working
We are
with our
doing it, yes.
developers on a regular basis, and we're doing it. We are starting
Yeah.
to build that model and figure out exactly how to get AI to start thinking from step one to get to the end product and change the way the law firm is running and thinking.
Correct. And one of your team members said something so profound to me when we were talking about implementation in general, but in your law firm. And this person said to me, you know what we should do? We should start uploading business processes and let's let the AI tell us our next move. So it's almost like it's the first time you have technology that you don't need to know everything. It's almost the opposite. Let's let technology go to work for you to identify where those gaps are, right? And I just thought it was so profound. Obviously, her title is Director of Innovation, so you'd expect that from her. But the idea that you can use the platform as a learning tool, right, to analyze where those gaps are in your firm, and let the AI say, hey, you know what you should do? You should do this and change this and change this. And you're a cutting edge guy, and Faster Outcomes is better served, much better served with you as a partner. And the idea is your energy, the insights that you bring to the table. That's what's going to keep us ahead, right? You're the prompts. That's Mr. Prompts. And so we're getting the right questions asked, right? And I think a lot of times businesses where they fail is they think they know too much in a way. And we're humble enough, the executive team at Faster Outcomes, including you, to know what we don't know, right? And we just have to keep asking questions and now start to lean on that technology to teach us, right? Because it's, to your point, your average lawyer, if you ask them for the 8 variables that drive revenue in their practice, probably can name 2 of them, right? And so we need to be able to help them understand and identify what those drivers, those revenue drivers are, and then plug the gaps with Faster Outcomes. And I think, yeah. And so as we wrap up, right? So you're an investor, and we're grateful for that. We sought you, right? So we're grateful for that you had ears to hear and to listen. The fact that you put the time, energy, and effort into the due diligence. Hopefully, the folks who see this webinar will equate that to this being a solid solution, right? Where Rob Levine is going to be using this in his practice, in addition to investing his real dollars and his time in putting our best foot forward at Faster Outcomes. And I think maybe I'll brag a little bit. That was a great decision on your part. I don't know.
I agree, 100%.
So yeah. So what's your advice, right? Like, start small, get comfortable, do your thing, right? And give us a call. Any final words for those folks?
My advice is, if you're starting now and you're using ChatGPT, so first of all, ChatGPT is not private if you don't turn off the settings for sharing. So you should know that using a public-facing system, it's sharing your information. You have to go in, turn off sharing. But even then, there's really a question as to how private it is. So be aware. You want to be careful about what kind of PHI you're putting into that system and how private it is, as opposed to using a product like ours, which clearly whatever you put in there is 100% private and is never shared with anyone. That's number one. Number two is, if you are using the system like a ChatGPT or even our system, there is the potential of hallucination. So for us, that's why we have a human in the middle today. So what that means is we draft your demand. Someone's going to review it to make sure that we don't have hallucinations. If you're doing it on your own in some other system, make sure you're reviewing what it's doing, because there's no question every system today that uses AI has the potential to hallucinate, and it does. So you want to be careful about what it's doing, what it's saying, and you're checking things. You obviously have an obligation ethically to get consent from your client. If you didn't know that, under the ABA model rules now, you're supposed to have consent from your client to use AI in your law firm. So make sure you're getting consent, all important things. What you should do next is experiment, try it out, get someone in your law firm using it, thinking about it. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to Tim at, where do they reach you, Tim?
Tim at fasteroutcomes.com, and you can go to fasteroutcomes.com. And by the way, Rob, I wanted to fail to mention that we're offering a free AI assessment. So if somebody wants to shoot me an email that's watching this webinar, let's just take a walk through your law firm. Let's look at your business processes, and we'll find ways that you can definitely go faster and increase profits with faster outcomes for sure. No cost.
And if you have any questions, right, for me, you can reach me. It's my name, simple, Rob at roblevine.com. So whether it's about one of the things I do in one of my companies, record retrieval, we run a training academy and placement in your law firm, my partnership with Faster Outcomes, we're integrating that with our record retrieval, so we'll be able to collect your records and be able to do demands and medcrons for you through Faster Outcomes. So there's tremendous amount of info we can supply you with. More than happy to answer questions and direct you in any way we can on anything. Feel free to reach out to either one of us.
Amen to that. We appreciate your partnership, and we look forward to many successful years together, Rob. Truly great.
Same here. Absolutely. Thank you.